Namaste, sir.
Okay, so we, yes, ma'am. Sorry. So we have Mrs. Niveditha Lakshmi Ratan with us. She's graduated with an honors degree in law from the School of Excellence in Law in Chennai, and she's currently a partner in RLR CO, my apologies, which was established in 1981 by Mr. R. Lakshmi Ratan, FCA, with the primary objective of rendering services incomparable in quality without compromising ethical standards. Niveditha specializes in non-litigation comprising of drafting and conveyancing. She's also gained a lot of experience in trial courts by working under reputed senior lawyers, Mr. N.V. Nagasubramaniam in Coimbatore. So with 10 years of experience, Niveditha advises various startups and reputed software companies on their contracts and undertakes personal estate planning for clients, offers advisory services on purchase and sale of real estate, and works closely with the rest of the team in providing tax-efficient solutions to the clients. So it is with great privilege that we invite our guest for the day. Welcome, Mrs. Niveditha, and we really appreciate you for having joined our midst to take time out of your busy schedule to address the students. With this, I'll hand the baton over to Abhita ma'am to start the formal introductions.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the speaker of the day, Mrs. Niveditha Lakshmi Ratan, L.L.B. She has graduated an honors degree in law from School of Excellence in Law, Chennai. She is currently a partner in RLR CO and an independent director in EL Forge Limited. She has 10 years of vast experience as legal advisor to various companies. We are indeed elated to welcome you, madam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
Yes, thanks for having me. I want to make this discussion as informal as possible so that the children are more involved in knowing what it is to be a lawyer. If that's
sure,
okay, we'll take it forward like that.
Yeah, ma'am. It is my privilege to welcome our secretary, sir, madam correspondent, principal madam, vice principal madam, staff and students of Mahatma Gandhi Centenary Vidyalaya. Over to you, madam.
Okay. Can we start the slides, please?
Yes, one second.
Yes, ma'am.
Deepa, if you can share your screen. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start with how to get into law school for those of you who want to become a lawyer or who are thinking of becoming lawyers. Okay. So first thing I want to tell you guys, it's not like what they show in the movies, okay? The court or the court scenes that they show in Hindi movies or Tamil movies, none of it is completely accurate as to what really happens in a court. And law is also beyond court these days. So we do a lot of work that involves not even stepping inside a court. So that's why I want to tell you there's so much scope in being a lawyer. So if any of you are considering this as a profession, it's a very good profession. You can do it behind your desk. You can sit at home and work. You can go to office and work. You can go to court. It's all your choice. It's what you choose to do. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay. So this is my company. Okay. R Lakshmi Ratan & Co. We do a lot of advisory services like how Mr. Aditya introduced me. I don't want to elaborate more on that. I'll tell you more about the entrance exams. So next slide. Okay. So if any of you are considering a career in law, so it's not needed that you need to opt for a particular group in 11th or 12th standard. You can do any stream that you want to do. So you can go for biology, you can go for maths, you can do physics, chemistry, maths, that combination, or you can do commerce, accountancy, any combination that you want. Whatever your school offers or any school offers, any stream, anything, you can take it up. It's your choice. What you want to do in 11th and 12th is purely your choice. It need not be one particular stream. After doing science also, you can get into law college. After doing arts also, you can get into law college. The options are very varied. If you're confused and if you don't know what to do until you reach 12th standard, then you can keep all your options open, do biology, physics, chemistry, and then you can go for law. But personally, as a lawyer myself, I would recommend that writing NEET, writing JEE, and writing law entrance exam would get very, very difficult for you to cope. It would get very hard to study for 3 or 4 entrance exams at a time. So it would be better if you can decide before you finish your 10th standard, if you want to go for law, because the entrance exam is very competitive, like your NEET or JEE exams. So if you want to go for law, it is better to start preparing for the entrance exam from 11th standard itself. Instead of waiting till you finish +2 and then write the entrance exam, it's better that you go for coaching classes in 11th and 12th standard and then appear for the entrance exams once you finish your board exams. Is it clear until now what I'm telling you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next slide, please. So, as you know, law entrance is also a centralized entrance now. So like how you write your NEET or JEE, for law entrance, it's called Common Law Aptitude Test, CLAT. Okay, CLAT is an entrance exam that you have to write if you want to get into law college. So CLAT, there is for national law colleges. National law college is, there are many national law colleges. So every state capital has a national law college. So there is a national law college in Delhi, there's a national law college in Mumbai, there's a national law college in every state capital. So only in Tamil Nadu, the law college is not in Chennai. It's in Trichy instead, where you guys are. So the National Law College in Tamil Nadu is located in Trichy. Every other law college, national law college, is in its respective state capital. So to write this CLAT exam, it's a centralized exam. So you usually go in person and you take an exam, like very much like your NEET or JEE exam. And then they call the rank holders for counseling. You can choose any one college from a list of colleges that they provide. That is for CLAT. Then there is also one exam called the LSAT exam. That is also an entrance exam. That also you can use to get into certain law colleges. Like Jindal College in Delhi uses LSAT exam. Vellore Institute of Technology has a law college now. They use the LSAT exam as their base to give admissions. Then there are different entrance examinations conducted by different states. Like if you want to get into a law college in Maharashtra, you have to write the Maharashtra state entrance examination. So basically what the problem is, there is no uniformity. Not everything is in the same method. Suppose you say, okay, I'll write one entrance, I'll definitely get into law college. It's not like that. Even to get into one college, you might have to write multiple entrance examinations. As far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, so you can get in just on the basis of your +2 scores. So the college where I studied in, School of Excellence in Law, that is also a government college. And you can get in just on the basis of your board exam score. So usually about 90 to 95% in board exams will guarantee you an admission in School of Excellence in Law or in any other law college inside Tamil Nadu, except the National Law School in Trichy. For that, you have to write the CLAT exam. For every other college, you can do just the board exams. So like I said, there are multiple entrance examinations to get into law college. So in case, again, if you're not sure of how to proceed after you finish your 12th standard, you can try writing all the entrance exams for an experience. But don't forget to focus on your board exams. Because if getting into law college is your main intention, at least with your +2 scores, you can get into a lot of law colleges inside Tamil Nadu. Just take your +2 scores and go for admission. That should be more than enough. So hopefully by the time you guys come into 12th standard, finish your 12th standard, there might be a little more uniformity. Maybe all these entrance exams will become one more central, better entrance exam, or each state will stop having its own rules and make a centralized rule. That's the hope. But so far it hasn't happened. So far everything is not uniform. So we just have to wait and see how it goes. But focus on your boards if you want to get into law college, at least within Tamil Nadu. Okay, that is for 12th standard. Next.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, like I said, you can start coaching classes in 11th and 12th itself if you want to appear for law entrance examinations. These coaching classes are usually conducted in every city. They'll teach you CLAT coaching classes. If you search like that, you will find something. And Chennai will also have a lot of coaching classes. There are crash courses. Maybe in 1 or 2 months, they'll try to cover the entire syllabus. Like that, they will do. So you can join if you want to go for any coaching classes. It's better to start and prepare before you appear for the entrance exams. Lakhs of people will be appearing for the entrance exams. The seats will only be several hundreds per college. So the competition is very, very high. So there will always be negative marking in the entrance exam. Negative marking means if you get one question wrong, you will lose 1 mark. Plus 1 if you get one answer right, minus 1 if you get one answer wrong. Understood? So it will be very competitive. Sometimes if you don't answer the questions properly, your entire score will be -5 or -10 because everything would be wrong. So you have to prepare properly before you appear for these entrance exams. Next. Okay. So like I said, now not everything we do is court based. We don't need to go to court every day nowadays to be a lawyer. We can work from home. We can work from our offices. We can sit behind a desk. It all offers the same amount of scope as going to court. And also now a lot of colleges are giving BCom LLB, BTech LLB, those kind of courses. So you get to become an engineer and a lawyer within 5 or 6 years as per how their course is scheduled. Or you get to do BCom and you get to do your LLB course within 5 years. So after that, you can pursue CA if you want, or you can pursue CS if you want. There is so much scope. Beyond just doing BA LLB, you can also opt for these kind of courses. Shastra is a college which is near your, which is in Tanjavur, right? Shastra College.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they offer BTech LLB. So there you can get a dual degree. The course as such will be very difficult, but it will give you a lot of opportunities when you graduate. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. So I'm going to tell you about certain branches of law, okay, which doesn't involve going to the court, like I said. You know for what people go to court, like usually why do people go to court? Any answers?
Justice.
Any problem?
What kind of problem?
What a problem.
Land problem.
Crime problem.
Land issue.
Families and divorce cases
conflicts, ma'am.
or family problems and
Civil problem.
Land
Law.
problem.
Land issues.
Divorce, ma'am.
When there is violation of law.
criminal law.
Yes.
Let's take turns to answer.
Perfect. So yes, mostly land problems. Say 2 brothers or 2 sisters are fighting and they want to divide the land between them. They usually approach a court. They used to approach a court. Now it is not needed to do like that. You can do it away from court also. A lot of mechanism has come. Divorce alone, yes, no other option. You have to go to the court to get a divorce. Then, you know, criminal law. Obviously, you have to go to court. If someone has committed a crime, they have to be persecuted by a court. And then after that, they will be given a sentence by the court and they will be jailed if they are found to be guilty. So apart from that, there is a lot of work that doesn't involve going to court. Like suppose you want to buy a land or you want to buy a house. So you go to a lawyer and you tell them, hey, I want to buy a house. I want to buy this house. So when you buy something, you have to check all the documents before buying. So the lawyer's job is to check all the documents regarding that house. Who first bought it? Who sold it to who? How the house was bought and sold, maybe for 40, 50 years. You know, suppose you're selling your grandparents' house. So there will be documents from their time till this time. there will be documents in pertaining to that property. So you have to check each and everything. Then you decide, you tell your client, okay, let us buy this house. How much are the sellers asking for the house? And then you have to negotiate a price. And then you have to go to the register office and register the document to buy a house. Then only it becomes your house. Or if you're selling a house also, you be on the other side, right? So this kind of thing usually comes. So this kind of things are very common for lawyers, where we check the documents and we sit with our clients to reach a good price for them to either buy or sell a property. So that has a lot of scope. And the transaction value is also high in certain cases. So the room for negotiation is more. Negotiation by itself is a very exciting process in all this. To sit across the table and to talk to somebody when they are selling their property. How much are you giving it for? Okay, let me offer you this much. Then they'll come back with a counter. We go back with a counter. It goes back and forth. And then the deal is closed, and then you do the documentation to close out these transactions. That is one part of being a lawyer, which doesn't involve going to court. Next would be corporate advisory. Like say you have a startup, you're in a tech startup or something. So each time you employ somebody, I have to give contracts to that person to make sure that their salary, their working hours, their scope of work, like what are they supposed to do? How many years are they supposed to stay at that job? You have to define all that for the companies. So you can do that kind of job. You draft contracts to tell for companies as to how to employ their employees, what are the benefits and perks you need to give the employees. And there are also a lot of legal compliances for companies. So legal compliances means they have to file certain forms with the government. Like every year they have to file their returns. They have to do their income tax returns. They have to report that to the government. So we have to help in that also. There are a lot of laws regarding how to employ people, what all you need to keep in your office if you employ a certain number of people. You have to give PF, you have to give ESI. You know what those are, right? Your parents must be getting those benefits, medical benefits, and such kind of things to employees. So as lawyers, you need to make sure that those companies are meeting all those things ethically, correctly, that they are treating their employees properly. So that is also one thing which forms part of corporate advisory that a lot of lawyers do. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Then intellectual property law. Like suppose you're uploading something on YouTube. So there's a copyright violation for that. That means that somebody has already, they have content that you cannot use, but you are illegally using it. So then you have to give a strike for that. I think I have to explain this a little more clearly. So basically what happens is when you upload content, you own that content. So if somebody else misuses your content, you have to rectify that. So that kind of work also is pretty common. Or say you start a business, you want to register a logo. How do you register that logo? You approach a lawyer and they register that logo for you. So that is also one branch of law called intellectual property law. Is it clear up until now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then taxation. So taxation, once again, people have to pay their taxes, income tax, corporates have to pay their taxes, all those things are happening. So as a lawyer, you have to check with them and see if there are any disputes. Suppose unnecessarily the government is asking you to pay tax, then I have to tell my client, no, it's not necessary. We will fight this out. We will take this in court and we will try and win your case. So that is also one area of practice. And family law practice, like you guys know, divorce, that you definitely need to go to a court if you want a divorce. Apart from that, there is also a family law practice would also involve, say, adoption of a child. That would also require a court process to happen. So you have to go to court for that also. So those things are certain areas where you do go to court, but in the beginning, you don't have to start with going to the court. You usually start with negotiations. You start by talking to the clients, seeing if they can settle it without going to the court. And only if it is unavoidable, like they say, no, I definitely want a divorce, then you go to the court to file for a divorce. Okay. Next. Yeah. So estate planning. Estate planning, once again, is like, suppose somebody wants to write a will. Somebody is, say, they're old and they want to divide the property between their children. So they're saying, let me write a will. So they approach a lawyer, and you have to write a will for them and tell them how to divide their property between their children, what to give who. You make a list of everything, and then you include it in a will. And once the person dies, then you take over from that place onwards, and you try to help them divide their assets between their children like how they wanted it to be. That is one job also that we do. Next. Yeah. So like I said, this is like, I'm just giving you a very small introduction on what to do. There is a lot more scope in everything in this entire field. You can find niche areas and explore that. This is not like exhaustive. Okay, there's more. So it keeps changing and it keeps evolving, and with technology and new advancements, lot of things happen. So when you grow up and maybe when you become lawyers, there will be more scope than what is there right now. Today we are doing this much, and this itself is very less. What I'm telling you, there's a lot more in the industry. So when you grow up and come, there'll be even more. Next, please. Yeah. So yeah, basically, like I said, you need to laws keep on changing. Every time they pass something new. So one important thing that you need to know if you are being a lawyer is that you are always a student. You can never be a teacher. You can never know everything. You have to learn every day. Suppose someone asks me some question, I may still not know the answer, even though I've been practicing for 10 years. It's not possible for any lawyer to know everything. Every day is a learning experience for us. So every day we try to learn something new, and we try to help our clients to the best that we can. So if you want to become a lawyer, you need to remember that it's not something that you study only for 5 years and then you're done studying. It's not like that. It's a lifetime of studying. It's a lifetime of learning new things. So that's what it is about to be a lawyer. Aditya?
Sure. Thank you so much for that. I'll open the floor for any questions from students, and we can take it as they come. That's okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how about we study law in any other country, and can we practice in India, ma'am, after studying in UK or US or somewhere in Europe?
No, you can't. In UK, yes, you can go for post-graduation if you want to. In US, it is not advisable because the laws are completely different. So if you study in US, it's better to practice in US.
Okay, ma'am.
You have to come back and re-qualify because each country will teach its own laws. In India, we learn Indian laws.
Hope that clarified your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, please? It's an extremely good opportunity for you to ask a lot of questions that you may have, no better opportunity to ask, because this is such a close forum for interaction. So please make the best use of it and try to ask the questions that you would like to know, so that you may chart your progress towards a legal profession. So come on, guys. Any other questions? Aren't you curious about how things are done?
Yes, students. Atreya, Radha.
Ma'am, in intellectual property law, in that advising clients it's having. So what
Yes.
is mean by advising clients, ma'am?
See, when they come to register a logo, or usually people come to register a logo, say for a business, what you need to do is first check if there is something similarly registered. So those are all the advice that you have to provide. Suppose they use a tagline for a product. Okay, so then you have to check if the tagline is already in existence. So before you do an actual job for a lawyer, actually everything is advice only. First, when someone comes to you, one meeting will be only advice. Once you check all this and get it correct, and then you say, okay, you can register this, you can register this tagline, then only you start doing the actual work. So it's your job to see that nobody else has it before you decide that your client can have it. Because if somebody else has it, that will become a dispute. It won't go through, your forms won't get filed. Now everything is online. So if there is something similar, it may or may not get filed, or it might get filed, and then you will be called to say that, see, this is not working, you need to strike this. So that you have to get another designer to come up with a new plan. So initially itself, we have to run a check to see that everything is fresh and new, and it's not an old idea. Everything is, made from scratch before you register things like this.
Hello, good morning, okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
We are able to hear you, ma'am. Please tell.
Can I speak to you, ma'am?
Yes, but very faintly, actually. In the meanwhile, there's one more question,
Yes.
which is, ma'am, what do we study? Like, they're curious about the curriculum that is usually taught, like what are the different kinds of subjects that are there, because they have no clue as to how it connects to school.
Correct. So first, I will say I studied BA, BL. So BA, BL means they will teach you 3 years of BA subjects and then 2 years of BL subjects. BA subjects means BA English, BA History, BA Economics, BA Political Science, BA Sociology. All these subjects will be taught. 5 or 6 subjects of BA will be taught. Apart from that, they will teach you law subjects like contract law, intellectual property law, family law, Hindu law, Muslim law, all different laws are there. All those laws also they will teach. So 5-year integrated course after you finish +2, they will teach you BA subjects and BL subjects in a combined manner. So the first 3 years will be BA subjects and BL subjects in a combined manner. 4th and 5th year will be purely law. All the BA subjects will be over. So at the end of 3 years, they will give you a BA degree. Keeping that, if you want to quit, you can quit and join some other course also. But they wouldn't advise it usually because that degree is not valid to get a job. It's called a BA degree in law. But it won't get you a real job. Like, what kind of work do you do with a BA in 5 subjects? It's very difficult. But if you want to join an MA course or an MSc course after finishing this, you can discontinue in 3 years and join some other course. But if you finish 5 years, you will get the BA, BL. Same way they will do for BCom, BL, 3 years, they'll teach you only BCom subjects combined with a little bit of law. 4th and 5th year will be fully law subjects. B.Tech BL also, they teach a lot. B.Tech BL will be a very difficult course, I think, because it's engineering and law combined. So it will be like a very heavy duty course to do. You have to learn both the subjects, all the core subjects. You will have maths, you will have physics. You have to be thorough in everything.
There's one more question. They're asking like,
you want to work in IT companies?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. you can study any branch of law to work in IT company. You can do BA, BL, BCom, BL, BTech, BL, no difference. Finally, when you work for IT companies, you will be checking their contracts. So when one company is doing work for, like say you're working in TCS, and TCS is doing a global project for some American company. So this company and that company will enter into a contract saying that they have to do this much work within this period of time. So your job as a lawyer is mostly to check those contracts and see that everything is correct, that the work that they are giving is doable. You have to coordinate with your teams inside the company itself and then figure out if you can finish the work. You can also work for banks. You can work for insurance companies. So when you work for banks, mostly there will be people who come for loans. So when they come for loans, you have to check all their loan documents. You have to write the loan document. You have to make them sign. You have to maintain records properly of the property that they are mortgaging before they take a loan. Because usually when you go for a loan, the bank will say, give me your property as mortgage. They will keep the property documents in their custody and then only they will release the money to you. So it's your job to facilitate that. When you work for insurance company, suppose someone is claiming insurance, maybe after death or maybe due to accident, you have to check all those documents, see if all the medical records are correct and if their claim is valid before you process and release money to those people. So there is scope in banks, insurance companies everywhere.
There's one more question. Is it possible to get BTech along with LLB from IIT?
Yeah, right now that's not an option. To my knowledge, I think only Shastra is offering BTech LLB.
Okay.
If you want, there is another option. You can go to IIT for your BTech. Once you finish that, you can join LLB independently. So there are two ways to join LLB. One is after finishing +2, you can join for 5 years and finish LLB. Or you can finish your degree and then join a 3-year LLB degree. So you can do like that also. You finish whatever degree you want, then you go and join LLB if you want to.
So
Ma'am, I have a
the
question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ma'am, how do I know that I have the aptitude for law, ma'am?
Right now, I would tell you, do you like civics?
Yes, ma'am.
So you probably have an aptitude for law. It would be kind of based on that. Know that the kind of things that you learn in civics, what equality, freedom, and your state list and concurrent list, and what the state controls, what the central government controls, how elections are held, things like that, which you learn in civics. Is that kind of what your civics portion is?
Yes, ma'am.
That's more or less what constitutional law would be like. So if you like civics, you're likely to have very good aptitude to law.
Ma'am, I also have another question, ma'am.
Yeah.
What do you consider best follow-up degree for law, ma'am?
I would say nothing. If you can just finish law and practice, stay true to the core, that would be more than enough.
Okay,
You can get a postgraduate degree from India if you want to go into teaching law. So you can work as a professor in a law college. That is a very good option. Suppose you want to go abroad and study law, then you can go to UK because their laws are more or less like our laws. Because we were ruled by the British, so a lot of their laws have been adopted into our laws. So you can study for a post-graduation from UK. After that, you can either come back to India and practice, or you need to write exams there to qualify there and register yourself as a lawyer in UK and study there. Now, suppose you study in US or Australia. Australia also not too bad compared to India. But if you study in US, your scope in India becomes very limited. It is better to be in US itself after studying in US. If you want to be in US, if your aim is to settle in US, don't even study law in India. Directly go to US after 12th, join there whatever course you need to do and stay there.
Thank you, ma'am.
So there's one question which has been repeated by many students. So what has been any one interesting case that you have encountered, if you remember, which made an impact in your mind when you were going through your curriculum or your practice?
Actually, yeah, I had one case that really impacted me. What happened was, one lady had adopted a child from her own sister. And after 5 years, her sister said, I'm taking my child back. And she took her child back to the US. So what happened is the adoption had taken place not according to legal procedure, because it was only between the sisters. So they just gave the child, saying, okay, you take my child, you raise my child. So it was a very difficult case to go before court and to say that, I'm an adoptive mother and I need custody of the child. The court was not interested in giving the adopted mother the child. They said, let the child be with the real mother itself. So actually that was a case that we lost, but it gave us a lot of insight that even if it is between your family, the legal papers have to be perfect. You cannot just say, okay, this is my mom, this is my sister. When it comes to court, they don't care who's your mom, who's your sister. They want the papers to be perfect. So as a lawyer, it's your job to ensure that.
Oh, that was really interesting. I mean, and it's a bit sad that how things played out finally.
It is like that, no? See, always in India, at least, adoption has a long way to go. So, yeah.
So there's one question. It says, how many years
Ma'am,
of
I have a
service? One second. Janani, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, if I have a very good oral skills, like I can fight orally, then that means that can I go for law, ma'am?
Absolutely. Yes. If you feel like you can argue better or you can tell a point clearly, arguing doesn't mean shouting or always telling the same thing again and again and again. It means that even if you tell one point one time, it has to be clear. Everyone should be able to understand it. If you have that skill, you definitely have the aptitude to make a great lawyer, and you have a great career in court practice, like doing your civil cases or divorce cases or criminal law. You would have a great career if you're able to argue well.
Yes,
then-
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead. You.
How
Go
many
ahead.
years of service is required for a lawyer to become a judge,
Yeah,
right?
that was the question I was about to ask. Yeah.
So usually now they are hiring freshers also. So once you finish law college, you have to be a certain age and then you can appear for the judge exams. Once you pass the judge exams, there will be an interview conducted by high court judges. They will check your aptitude, and then if you clear the exam and the interview, you can become a judge directly.
So there's a question as to why you chose law. What motivates you to do law?
Actually, I liked writing contracts. I liked making terms and conditions for everything. It's a really silly personal story. If you don't mind me sharing, I will.
Please.
So sometimes, your parents don't do things that you want them to do. So when I was in 7th or 8th standard, I used to ask for something and my parents will say, yeah, I'll do it later. And then they never used to buy me that. So what I used to do, I used to take a piece of paper and write everything. If I do this, you will buy this. If I do this, you do this. If I do this. So I used to write some 5-10 points, like all my conditions. And then I used to get signature from them. And every time they didn't do something, I'll show that paper and I'll say, see, you promised me that you would do this. So you have to do this. You sign this paper. So since then, I've been obsessed with writing contracts.
Wow, that's really a nice progression. It's going to give a lot of ideas for the kids here.
ma'am,
Yes.
how many cases you have in, ma'am?
Oh, none of us remember all that.
That's a day-to-day thing, ma. It's
That's
like
a
saying
day-
how many homeworks have you done till now, probably from your class 1 to 10, right? It's like that. There's one more question. So I think this is a bit from me
Radha
also.
says I do that with my brother. Excellent.
Wow.
You can be a good contract lawyer. Except
this
you
is
have to do
one-
it to companies.
So this is one question which I have. I think it will benefit them.
Yeah.
What kind of skills do they actually test for in the CLAT or the LSAT exams? If you could elaborate.
Yeah. So CLAT or LSAT, there's a lot of English, and then there's logical reasoning, which is mostly like your how do I explain it? time and distance kind of mathematical problems, right? A train is going in one from Chennai to Kolkata, another train is coming from Mumbai to Delhi, and these two will meet at some junction. They won't geographically. I'm just giving you an example. So where will that, what is the distance that this train has to cover to reach that? So that kind of questions will be asked. Apart from that, there is this whole section called legal reasoning, which is like civics. They will ask you a lot of questions about the state list, concurrent list, directive principles of state policy, fundamental rights, basically whatever you learn in civics, but in a very advanced level, which is why it is important to go for coaching classes. Because this legal reasoning alone, nobody can teach you. If you have a lawyer in your house, they will be able to help you. But if you study by yourself, it will be a little difficult because it will be like an introduction to law. So coaching classes will be able to give you a lot of clarity on how to navigate that subject. So it will be English, maths, logical reasoning, legal reasoning. Mostly these sections will be covered. And like I said, negative marking will be there. If you get one question correctly, you will get +1. If you get one question wrong, it will become -1, like that.
Madam,
Ma'am,
I have a question, madam.
Yes.
Who's your typical client, madam?
Typical?
Client.
Typical client.
Yeah, ma'am.
My typical client is usually somebody who buys property, basically. That's most of my work.
Okay.
ma'am,
Yeah.
for catering, what we want to take, ma'am?
What I didn't
Wow.
understand.
One second. Just one of you has a question. Radha, do you have a question?
No, sir. I don't.
Okay.
I had one, but someone else asked it before itself.
Not an issue. Someone has had a question, right? What was the question? Anyone? There was one question which you were trying to ask. I think Yoga Lakshmi.
Ma'am, for catering, what we want to take?
Catering.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not related to this session, Mama Yoga Priya. Let's stick with the topic of the session. There are separate. We'll have one session for that, and maybe you can ask that question that time. So the one question which I found interesting that they ask is, who's your role model in terms of, could be professional or otherwise also?
Honestly, I don't look at anybody like that, so I don't want to give some false answer.
No, that's really good because my answer is also the same thing for that.
I don't have any inspirational stories. You just work hard and you come up in life. That's all I have to say.
Very true. I think that's the better lesson than just looking up to someone without knowing why.
Yeah. Because everyone will have their faults, and when you know someone too intimately, you know what everybody is.
Absolutely spoken
wrong.
like a true lawyer. So any other question? Oh yeah, there's one I missed. It says, what do you like least about your work and what do you like most about your work?
Oh, what I like most about my work is talking to people, I think. Like, you're able to listen to so many people's personal stories that you wouldn't know in any other profession. Like maybe their family problems, their marital problems, their problems between their children. Sometimes a lot of people have difficulties in dividing properties. Maybe their two children are fighting, so they're wondering what to do for who to give what. Those kind of intimate details are discussed with a lawyer, and it's our job to keep it very, very confidential. So if someone tells me something, I cannot tell it outside to anybody else. You have to permanently keep a secret. That's what I like most about my job. It's that people can trust you when you're a lawyer and come and tell you things that they won't tell even their own family members. But they will tell you because they know that you cannot share it with anybody else. So when someone comes to you with their problems, your job is to protect them. It's not to judge them. It's not to say, oh, your children are fighting. You raised bad children. It's not my job to say that. It's to say, okay, your children are fighting. Let us help them stop fighting.
So what is it that you don't like about your job? That is the next question.
I'm not very fond of court proceedings.
Okay.
It's very exciting, but it's also very what do you say? It drags on a lot unnecessarily because the system is like that. The Indian judicial system is like that. Things don't get resolved easily. Anything that goes to court takes years and years to get resolved. Which is why I think the more you get done out of court, the better it is. So court going should be like the last option for any fight, any dispute. The last option should be court. The first option should be to resolve it by talking.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Absolutely.
Ma'am, to become a judge, we want to become a lawyer.
Yes, compulsory.
Okay.
Ma'am, have you tried for becoming a lawyer? Oh, sorry, judge.
No, I haven't tried. I didn't want to become a judge.
Oh, okay.
Ma'am, what makes you to get interest on this job?
I think she covered that question. It's talking about her childhood, right?
Yeah. But after that, you can, if you want a particular job, there will be campus placement, like engineering colleges itself. Law college will also have campus placement once you finish 5 years. Lot of companies will come and hire. Other than that, you can also apply for jobs to any place that you want by giving your resume there.
Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am.
Yes.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it necessary for a lawyer who wants to be a arguer in a court? Is it necessary for him to be fluent in Tamil, ma'am? As he works in Tamil Nadu.
Yes, it's better to be. In court, we usually use English, but in lower courts, like in districts, in small districts, suppose you're arguing a case in maybe Trichy, Coimbatore, Madurai, Chennai, all these places, English is extensively used. Now, suppose you go to Karur or Teni or some small places like that, it is better to be very fluent in Tamil. Because you have to talk to your client also. Not all clients will know English. Not all judges will know English. They will know basic English, but maybe not very, hi-fi English. But that doesn't mean they are bad at their job. English is just a language, right? It doesn't signify anything else.
So we can also use English in the courts in higher cities, right, ma'am?
English is only used in all the big cities. Only English. Tamil is not used much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, students. So in case if you've covered all your questions, any more questions, we'll be happy
Ma'am,
to
I
take.
have one more, ma'am. One more question.
Yes.
Can you give some book recommendation, ma'am, to just get through what it's to be like a lawyer? Just
like, do you read fiction like John Grisham?
No, ma'am, but lot of fantasy.
Lot of fantasy. Okay, this job is rooted in reality, unfortunately. It's a lot of sad realities also. I would say you read a John Grisham novel. Mostly it's about it's about the US, of course. It's not exactly about the Indian legal system, but that's okay. It is still nice to know how lawyers in other countries do their cases. And that will give you an inspiration to, if you want to do it in India, you would have a good idea. And it'll be fun to read a story rather than just, I can recommend a book called Indian Courts and Legal System, but you would fall asleep reading that book. Read a story.
I'm having one question, ma'am.
Yeah.
What problem do you face mostly in the court, ma'am?
In the court?
What do you mean by that question? What problem do you face? Implying like what problem in terms of doing our daily work, or what kind of cases come up? What do you mean by that? Suvanya?
Yes, sir.
Can you clarify, ma? What do you mean by that? When you mean what problem do you face?
It's about example, a land problem, or what problem do you face to mostly, sir? That I'm asking.
Mostly it will be delay. See, like I said, it will go to court. It will take 5-6 years for one judgment to come. Then that will go on appeal. It will take another 5-6 years. So suppose you start fighting one case when you are 25 years old. By the time that case is over, you're 50 years old. So that is the main problem that is faced in court, delay.
Okay. Nivedita, actually, is Perry Mason a good book? Can we also recommend that? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
I
Perry
used to be
Mason is a very good book. Yes, yes, you're right.
So yeah, guys, if you're interested in fiction, do study Perry Mason also. It's quite good. So I think whoever mentioned that you are into the fantasy genre, probably a story would help you along the way, like Agatha Christie for detectives.
Yeah.
So I think that's all about the questions, Nivedita. Thank you so much for offering to do this for us amongst your busy schedule. And it really means a lot that you've come and addressed the students. They would not have had this extensive opportunity to interact with and talk to you and get this first-hand information on various aspects of legal proceedings and how things happen in the court. And I must say it was a pretty revelatory session for me as well. So with this, I'll pass it over to Abhita ma'am to give some closing remarks for the session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aditya. Thank you so much, Nivedita, for your valuable insight about how to take law as profession. And I'm sure students must have got a good understanding of different laws. Thank you so much. I thank Aditya. Yeah.
Thank you. The students have been really interactive. I hope they understood at least a little bit. It's a long process of research that if they want to be in this profession, they should start researching as to how to do the coaching classes and entrance exams from after they finish their 10th standard itself.
Yeah, you have given a very good insight about it, and like I'm sure they'll think about taking it as a profession.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, I thank Aditya for arranging this wonderful session with Nivedita.
Thank you.
I also thank everyone in this session for their cooperation, support, and an active participation. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.